I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to follow your motion, but it was never going to be me. Hagen Scotton, former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. Those words aren't just frustration, that's a warning for all of us to pay attention to. This week, 7 federal prosecutors walked away from their jobs rather than to follow orders from Donald Trump and the Department of Justice to drop a corruption case against New York City's Democratic Mayor Eric Adams. But this wasn't just about protecting Adams, it was about controlling him. Because here's a fact you absolutely need to know. Trump's DOJ didn't just kill this case, they simply put it in their back pocket. The charges were dismissed without prejudice, which means that they can bring the case back anytime they want. Trump used this case to gain leverage over Adams. Essentially, Trump makes the charges go away and Adams completely cooperates with ICE in the city. And if he steps out of line, they'll indict him all over again. Trump isn't just doing this for fun. He's sending a clear message to the leaders of our country. If you cooperate with my agenda, I can make all of your legal problems disappear. And if you don't, then I'll bury you in them. This isn't just a scandal, it's a power play. Hagen Scotton and the 6 other federal prosecutors are a group of seasoned federal attorneys saying this is a hostage situation, not a legal decision. They aren't resisting political pressure to prosecute, they are resisting political pressure not to. And quite frankly, good for them. This is as corrupt as it gets, and they refuse to be part of it. And here's where I get to tell you that we're only seeing the beginning of what Trump's America looks like. This is exactly what many of us were worried about. This is Project 2025. This is authoritarianism. This is America, because Trump has made one thing crystal clear. The legal system is now his personal tool. He's pardoning January 6 rioters, people who violently attacked police officers, while also reversing prosecutions of his political allies. He's gutted DOJ oversight, ensuring that the only laws that get enforced are the ones that he finds useful. He has handed over the financial stability of our federal government to Elon Musk, and now he's setting the precedent. Justice is no longer about guilt or innocence, it is about loyalty. This isn't just about Adams, it's about whether the law exists anymore. Because if Trump can decide who gets prosecuted and who doesn't, then justice in America is dead. This is the story of how Donald Trump is turning the justice system into a political weapon, and why, if we don't stop this now, it's only going to get worse from here. Before Trump ever got involved, Eric Adams was already in serious legal trouble. Federal prosecutors charged him with bribery, wire fraud, and conspiracy, accusing him of taking illegal travel perks and foreign campaign donations from Turkish officials in exchange for political favors. And the evidence against him is damning. Financial records showing money funneled from Turkish sources into Adams' campaign, communications between Adams and Turkish business leaders discussing mutual benefits, testimonies from foreign aides who claim that Adams directly solicited money to boost his mayoral campaign. This wasn't just some minor ethics violation. This was a textbook case of political corruption. And prosecutors from the Southern District of New York spent over a year building their case against him. They tracked foreign wire transfers, they raided his campaign offices looking for records, they even had sealed indictments ready to expand the charges, including recent allegations that Adams tried to destroy evidence. This case wasn't partisan. It wasn't a political hit job. It was law enforcement doing its job. But within weeks of Trump being inaugurated and getting back into office, his new Attorney General, Pam Bondi, took a sudden interest in this case. On February 10th, Trump's DOJ issued a memo ordering that charges against Adams be dropped. And the reason? Because prosecuting Adams would interfere with his ability to govern. It would hurt national security and immigration enforcement efforts, and most importantly, it was distracting Adams from working with ICE. Shocking, because being prosecuted for the crimes you committed gets in the way of you doing your day job. Let's be absolutely clear. None of these are valid legal reasons to drop a corruption case. Adams wasn't found innocent. There was no problem with the evidence. The case wasn't collapsing. Trump's DOJ shut it down for political reasons. The very thing they claimed Biden was doing, which, to be clear, he absolutely was not. Like I said in the intro, this was so corrupt, 7 federal prosecutors walked out rather than be part of it. And Hagen Scotton's letter made it crystal clear. This was an attack on the rule of law. And another prosecutor put it as blunt as you could possibly make it. This is the most lawless order I have ever received. This is how real legal professionals react when the justice system is hijacked. They don't just disagree with Trump. They walked away from their careers because they knew that this was the turning point. Trump didn't stop this prosecution because it was unfair. He stopped it because he wanted a favor from Adams. Adams, who is a Democrat, has been struggling in his re-election campaign, and Trump knew that if he bailed Adams out, he could own him. And that's exactly what happened. Adams has since reversed his stance on ICE. He's on Fox News with Trump's border czar bending the knee. And honestly, doesn't this look like a hostage situation? Trump parading his African American in front of MAGA like, see, I can control them. And now a mayor who once called Trump dangerous is playing nice with his administration. This isn't justice. This is extortion. And if Trump can take the justice system hostage now, what do you think he'll do when he knows no one can stop him? And that, of course, brings us to what happens next. Because what happens next could set a very dangerous precedent. Whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, or just someone trying to survive in this country, this case has sent a clear message. Trump's Department of Justice killed a corruption case, not because Adams was innocent, but because they needed leverage. Now, Adams is doing exactly what Trump wants. That's not spin. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's reality. And every politician in America just got the warning loud and clear. Cross Trump and you're done. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. If you aren't useful to him and completely loyal, you're expendable. If you're a Democrat mayor or governor, you just learned the Department of Justice is no longer neutral. It's a weapon. It can protect you or destroy you, depending on what Trump wants. And if you fight back, the cost is going to be high. Adams had a choice: cooperate or get indicted again. And because he's a spineless, pathetic excuse of a man, he chooses to bend the knee. For Republicans, the message is even more chilling. If Trump is willing to manipulate the justice system to turn a Democrat into an ally, what do you think he'll do to a Republican who steps out of line? If you're a GOP senator who doesn't back him 100%, will your campaign suddenly be under federal investigation? If you're a Republican governor who refuses to enforce mass deportation, will your state's funding suddenly mysteriously disappear? Everything they accused Biden and the Democrats are doing, they are doing themselves right now. This isn't just corruption. It's a takeover. Trump doesn't think he's above the law. He believes in his soul that he is the law. But this is the part where I get to tell you the truth. Authoritarianism thrives on people believing that they are powerless. That's the whole point of a move like this, the whole point of everything he's done since being back in office. Trump wants you to feel like resistance is pointless, like the system is rigged beyond repair, like you might as well just give up. But here's the reality. We still have power, and the only way he wins is if we forget that. So here are some things that I can suggest you to do if you're feeling anxious and you feel like you have to do something. First things first, make some noise, be heard. Politicians, especially Democrats, love to issue strongly worded statements and then do nothing. That can't happen here. Call them, email them, show up to your town halls. Let your representatives know that silence is not an option. If they aren't fighting this every minute of their day, then they're just as complicit. The next thing you can do is to hold the media accountable, because right now, too many media outlets are treating this like it's just politics. This is not normal. This is a test of democracy itself. Demand that they cover it that way. I want you to share stories, push for coverage, and call out networks that are downplaying what's happening. You can also support organizations that fight against authoritarianism. There are watchdog groups and legal defense funds and civil rights organizations working every single day to hold these abuses of power accountable. They need funding, they need volunteers, and they need visibility. If you can't donate, then just amplify their work. Just talk to the people in your life. Don't panic, speak calmly, and stick to the facts. And finally, and hopefully something that actually comes to fruition, vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Trump and his allies are betting on apathy. They want you to think that elections don't matter, that nothing changes, that it's all hopeless, but that's how they win. Vote in every single election, from school boards to the presidency, midterms, everything. Vote in every single election you can, because the people who show up, those people decide the future. Of course your voice matters. Why do you think they're trying so hard to stop you from voting? And I know that I said that was the last one, but I got one more. Refuse to be intimidated. Fear is their weapon of choice. They want you to believe that speaking out will put you at risk, that opposing them will ruin you. And that's the trap. I know it's scary. I know it is. Trust me, I do. But the only way that they win is if we submit, because this is the moment. Trump is testing the limits of what he can get away with right now. It's happening right now. And if this goes unchallenged, it won't stop there. So the question isn't whether we can fight back. The question is, will we fight back? Because history doesn't look kindly on those of us who sit back and watch democracy crumble. And we are dangerously close to the edge. Now is the time to push back as loudly, as relentlessly as you can before it's too late. As I was wrapping up this video, I did a quick Google search, and yeah, they found someone to do it for them. U.S. prosecutors agree to seek dismissal of Adams' charges under pressure. Sources say.